Alright, everyone, I want to talk to you about a problem I see in Wizard 101. So, there's a number of problems in Wizard 101 associated with collecting and consider yourself having collected things. In this particular video, I want to talk about gear collecting. So, gear collecting is something, so you go out there and, you have specific sets for specific wizard schools from specific worlds. So, for example, there is we call it tier 1 or the best of the world sets for every world really except for Wizard City, as there was really no like there's a few crown sets you can go farm for or pieces. There's not even really a full set. There's no actual set bonuses until you get to the later added content. But originally there was for level 10 when you beat Wizard City, there's no actual gear set at that level. But after that, from Krokotopia on, every world essentially has a best of world set, and you can go collect that, display that on mannequins, or store in your vault, or just delete it because you don't care, whatever you want to do. But that does not really, in a way, I find that to be problematic because, for people who like to collect things, which is something many gamers like to do at some level, we need a system of being able to manage and track gear that we have collected. For example, you find, let's go with this from the Marley Bone dungeon. All right, you find this gear. Okay, great. Then you go log on another character. You find this gear. How do you track whether you found that gear on another wizard or not? You can't without doing a lot of work, time-consuming work that takes away from what people want to do, and that's play the game. So I want to show you something from another game where they solved this issue of you finding gear and collecting gear and being able to track it in game very easily. Alright, so this game that I want to show you is called Elder Scrolls Online. So let's pull it up here. You should hopefully see it. When I have it now, it should be overlaying, but OBS is being wonky, it's not showing it, but I'm going to assume that it's done it. Alright, so this is Elder Scrolls Online, and I'm going to pull up inventory. So this is their collections page. So you have various things up here. You got your housing. You got your. No, I'm not saying. Oh, okay. Wizard needs to bring up this UI. Okay, I'm not talking about this. This is what I want to show. All right, this is a drop set from Daggerfall Covenant, Alakir Desert Zone. All right, and it says, okay, you got this set. These are the pieces I've collected. These are the pieces I haven't. So you see how they're highlighted for collected, grayed out for not collected. This tracks across all characters on the account. So I can log into any character and it will show this. So I can, I find something on this character, it will show up as collected on another character. So this makes it say, oh hey, have I found this piece for? Yes, you found that piece for because it's in your collection. Now what they do is I can now then also go and recreate these. This is what this costs. This cost here is the cost of the currency to recreate a piece of gear from the set. Alright? And you get this from doing specific things. So I get a lot of these in this game from doing PvP. Alright? But you can do this in many ways you want. And so this is a system I think that we should create something similar to in Wizard 101. Alright, so what I think we can do, let's go back to Wizard 101 here. Alright. So what I think we can do here is you have a system that's just like in the Outer Scrolls, shared by all characters. Alright, you find a piece of gear, it goes into that collection. Alright, so once you find a piece of gear, and you can even put an icon there, okay? Oh, okay. This piece of gear is in your, actually we need an icon, sorry, so we need that. Just, you find a gear piece, it goes into that collection. Alright, and this would only be for drop gear. And then, once an item is in you have collected an item, you can go in, just like in Outer Scrolls Online, reconstitute that piece of gear for a cost. Now this man, I'm not gonna say how fast this resource to reconstitute should be gathered. I'll let the devs of KI figure and balance that out. But what I would recommend is that it is acquired from doing things like team ups and particularly teaming up for fights. And I would even make it where, if it is possible, make it where you get more for teaming up for fights that have been, or for dungeons, through the team up kiosk that have been active for a while. So I would make it that if the player starts a team up, let's say you get, if it's under 15 minutes, you get one resource for helping that player. If it's over 15 minutes and it's under, let's say an hour, you get two. And if it's over an hour but less than 2 hours, you get three or something like that. Like some scale where the longer a player has been waiting for help, the higher the reward for helping. Like that's the thought I'm having. That the point of that would be, like you would have no person creating a dungeon would have no control over how long it takes for someone to join it. So this wouldn't be someone like, okay, I'll go create a character and start up this queue for this dungeon, and then like I just have to join it, and after 24 hours, and I get a bunch of currency. No, because anybody would be able to join it. You wouldn't be able to stop them from joining it. And if like you said, like, oh, it wasn't long enough, you cancel, well, then you would be denying yourself the stuff in there, help that you wanted or whatever. So it wouldn't incentive. That would actually be it wouldn't have any factor on that. So it would be a very good thing to do, and that would incentivize people for helping do dungeons that most people don't have an incentive to do. So this would actually solve two problems, this idea. One, the ability to collect gear throughout the game, so you can say, hey, I've collected 99% of the gear, 100% of the gear in the game, like whatever. Like it would create this means of it. And you wouldn't have to store all that gear necessarily unless you wanted to on your account. Like you collect it, you can I also did your first piece you collect, gets destroyed to add it to your collection, and then you can reconstitute it or go find another piece or however you want to get more. I think that will do a lot to make this game more friendly to collectors, while also making it easier to manage inventory space. And like with that too, I think what you could do, I think in a way it would make where AI could get probably more sales, because if you do it like this, let's take this with the crown pack. So to do this with the crown packs, what I would do for crown packs is I would make it, once you find a piece of gear from a crown pack, that piece of gear gets added to your collection, and then it no longer drops from that pack. So once you got all the gear from the pack, you don't need to buy that pack anymore for the gear. And then rather what you do is then you can reconstitute that gear for a token crown price. So let's say that you get it from a Grunge for the $3.99 pack, and then you can reconstitute it for let's say 25 crowns or something like that. I think that would make it where people might actually be more willing to buy. I mean, I know, granted, you probably need some testing, market analysis, and all that, but I would say you probably would have more people buy crown packs overall, because now with a system like this, you would now have a way of getting gear from a crown pack, getting a crown gear from a crown pack that you could actually reliably get. And I think you would find that a lot of people don't buy crown packs simply because crown packs are basically pure gambling. And anyone who has good financial sense does not want to waste a lot of money on things that are just pure gamble. So creating a system where you can go, like this gear collection system, where you can also, where it's drop gear, you get drop gear, you can then reconstitute it. Crown pack gear, you go there, you reconstitute for a token amount. It's, it's something like 25 crowns. You pay. So basically, you're paying $3.99 for a pack, $3.99 for a pack, $3.99 pack. You get some gear pieces, and then you can reconstitute that later for a token crown pack. So basically, like say I got here, and the energy costume here, right? So I've gotten this drop. All right, this cost me a little bit of money. With this idea, okay, now that I found this would be added to my collection gear. I go in there and reconstitute it for 25 crowns. So like they got the money for me purchasing the pack, and they would get money for every time I want to reconstitute this for a character. So I got 10 characters right there. Would be another additional, say, for a role like this, it'd be another. If I want to have all my characters with the energy gear, that would be 12. So I got 12 characters, so that would be 25 times 12, which is about 300 crowns. So right there, 300 crowns. In addition to it, and I would have to spend the crowns. So like, it's not like this would be robbing them of sales. It would just make it more efficient. For players, because you gotta find that most players are not gonna go sit there and spend 50,000 crowns to go get energy gear on packs to go get an energy gear set for one character, and then go do the same thing again for another character, and another character, and another character. They're not going to do that. And so this is an idea. I mean, I said it'll need some refining. Some testing. Like this. I'm not saying this is exactly the way it needs to be implemented. But this is the start. This is where you should start be thinking, okay, how can we make an idea like this? Making it easier for gear collecting, making more, providing means for people to help people who've been in queues for a long time. Because there's a lot of fights out there where no one wants to do because the fight isn't worth the time and the effort. They go, why should I go do this fight that'll take at least an hour to complete? And I get nothing from it. Like a lot of the spell weaving quests, you literally get nothing from the fight. Literally nothing. Like, oh hey, here's this. You get this one draw. You get a couple of TC cards and this reagent that you need to craft these dual stat jewels. Well, guess what? I got dozens of those jewels now, and I got like characters that are maxed out on that without even trying. And so you need to find a way to help people make it an incentive for people to help with these dungeons. You need to make it easier to collect gear and manage that gear. And then on top of this, you can incorporate the crown gears into it, where players would have an incentive. So hey, I can go buy this pack. I can chase this gear set, and once I get each piece of gear, that I get this gear set, it no longer drops to that piece because it's now in my collection. I would think that would drive more sales because then you have people who have an incentive to go, hey, I can go buy this gear pack. Maybe it'll cost me 20,000 crowns or 30,000 crowns to get the entire set of gear from that pack. But once I get it, I can reconstitute for a very token amount of crowns. I think you'll find more people will possibly be. I said you would have to do this. You have to go collect some data. Maybe try to test it out on test room, see with players on there. Of course, that would mean that they would need to make it open to more players, not just those with a subscription. But that's another discussion. But you get that data. You say, okay, would this work? Will this? Like you can't. Unfortunately, probably if KI sees this video, they're probably going to do this. Oh, that's an idea. Nah, that's a stupid idea because it takes some work to incorporate, and it challenges our current model that we rely on because we don't want to make changes to it. No, you have to collect data. You have to possibly, and I think creating a value where it's not just pure gamble and you always got to gamble. I think players would be more like one thing I've never done is like I can understand having the packs, but why don't they ever put the gear up for direct purchase? Like why couldn't I even for game this like I would say, hey, why can't we go and buy this gear set directly? Like I would be more willing to go spend X amount of crowns, like say like 10 times the pack, I would be more willing to pay 10 times the pack for a specific gear piece from that pack than to go gamble and hope I get it. You know, like there's so much they're so focused on, and it's not just KI, it's a lot of companies is you get so focused on we gotta get that pack, we gotta get that pack, we gotta get that from them to spend money on that pack, and they don't think about, but what about the people, you'll say, so you get the people who are addicted to gambling to chase after it, and then you say, but most people with any financial sense, which you're gonna be like, man, I want that piece of gear, but if I go gamble for it, it might take $1,000. No, I don't want to do that. So they don't. So they don't go. Well, maybe I spend $5 on it instead. No, they'll say, in order to get the piece I want, statistically, it would probably take me $1,000. I'm not going to spend any money on it whatsoever. What you need to do is say, okay, let's have a way where someone can spend a small, the $3.99 crown pack. Gamble. Yeah, okay, I get it. Oh, nah, or you get the person who say, oh, no, I don't want to gamble. I want the specific piece. I'll go spend $3,990 for it. You just made from one item to sell 10 packs to get that one single item. They get what they want, and KI get some money, or in this case, crown spent that symbolic money. Like I don't understand this idea of only having the one way. I said this idea, I think it would be a good idea, and I said you can, it's not perfect, it's not refined. You need to what would be the precise system? Maybe with this idea, maybe you raise the crown packs up a little bit, whatever. But I think this is a good idea if you implement it properly, and it would give people a lot of reasons to like gear it. You know, I have a similar idea with pets. Take the pet tome and make the pet tome universal. So like, you collect a pet on one character, it shows up in the pet tome for all characters. Make the pet tome account wide. And what that does then is if I'm on this character, like I don't even try to collect pets anymore because one, I get so many pets from Beast Moon. It's a pain in the arse to manage those pets. Well, keep it one so that way if someone wanted to hack it or whatever, or just to show off, like, hey, I got this pet. Like, because if you delete the pet, okay, it's in your pet tome, but pet tome don't mean nothing really. Like what I would do with pet tome is make it account wide. Okay, now you can, anytime you're at the pet hatchery and you want to go hatch for a new pet for your collection, you open up your pet tome and it tells you what pets you have and when you have it, regardless of what character found it. Like that would be more useful. Like the way the pet tome is right now is completely useless. It's literally just taking a space on hard drive servers and then they're cold. You make it universal, shared across all wizards on your account, it then actually has value because then you can be on this wizard and you can see what pets you've collected. Then you go on to this wizard, you can see what pets you've collected. Like that would make it where you can actually go out and collect pets because it wouldn't matter what frickin' wizard you're on to go collect pets. Or you spend a bunch of hours upon hours every 5 months going over and say, okay, what pets do I have? What pets don't I don't have? What pets are out there? And trying to figure out what pets to go collect. Like it's ridiculous. Like they don't think that a little bit of work on their part as a game developer would make it where you could actually do what they want you to do with pets and collect them. But they don't do that either. Then it's the same idea. But after you make the pet to them, share it across the account. Once you add a pet to it, have a little goat cost. Like whatever the cost of a hatch is. So like say for 5,000 gold, you could reconstitute the pet that you've already collected and have a base model of it. It's like the base model you get when you first get the pet. Then you wouldn't have to store all these pets somewhere on your character. You go out, oh hey, there's a new pet. Go out, find people with that pet. You hatch with it. Boom. You get the pet. You don't have to say, okay, now I gotta find a place to one of my houses to store this pet. No, you can delete it. It's in your pet tomb. Anytime if you want to go use that pet later on, you just spend 5,000 gold, which gold in this game is cheap. And I guess pretty much worthless. So you go, boom, hey, it take me 5 seconds to go get 5,000 gold. And I guess so like it'd be nothing to have that as a cost to reconstitute the pet. So now you have the pet tome managing your pet collection. You don't have to store it somewhere in your house. Then you could even do another thing too. This is another thing. Says rather than having pets sit here and stored in your inventory, make it part of the pet tome. So you basically make it where pet tome here. What I would do is you go into the pet tome, have it where you go in the pet tome, you go, okay, I want to equip this pet. You go here, you equip it. And that's your pet on it. And then it tracks it and it would have it on here. It's like, okay, level, whatever. So like you equip it from here, it tracks your levels in here. So once you get this pet up to Mega, Ember Shenlong Dragon is always Mega for you. And then you can go have a system, okay, go in there, you have a little button, okay, choose a stat. Then you go in there, choose the stats, and then you make the stats about collecting the stats. You can make it based on the number of pets you have, how many stat points they have. You know, I think long term that would make the pet collecting more actually practical and incentivize people to go out there and collect pets. If you make collecting pets integral to how much stats you have instead of, well, let me go patch and hope I get an improved stats, right? You can make it say, okay, the more pets you have, the higher your stats are, or, like, you can make that thresholds, like, collect one pet, you have this many stats, collect two pets, you have this many stats. Oh, you collect the fifth pet, your fifth pet, now you get a talent that you can equip. And you can make the talents, earn that way. Like, I mean, there's a lot of ways you could make the pet tome where it's more that's where you collect the pets from rather than having an inventory. So like those two things alone, making pets store equipped and unequipped from your pet tome, and then levels tracked on your pet tome, so which would save a lot of people time by saying, hey, I want to go have a pet with this model with these stats. Boom, you go collect the stats, you collect the pet, you train the pet up, and then you equip the stats. Boom, much more user friendly than this current system. In this current system, I have so many pets at the same time, and I don't even know if I can delete them because it's like, man, do I have this on another character? I don't know. It'd be too time consuming to go out and check that out. Whereas this system, boom, you doing the Beast Moon. Boom, well, hey, I did Beast Moon, got 200 points or 160 points, depending on which one it is, and I got the pet. Great. Go do it on another character. Oh, guess what? I don't have to worry about collecting the pet. I already got the pet. So, like, I won't have to delete, 6 versions or 7 versions or 10 versions of a pet because I've already collected it on one character. Like, this would be a great idea. But, like, this type of stuff, like, I really don't get why AI doesn't think of this stuff. Because, like, I literally just think of this stuff, playing the game, being aware of other games out there and what they're doing. And, like, and you don't even have to be aware of other games. Like, this should be, like, man, like, this is something you should be asking as a KI dev. How can we make the game more functional for players? Like, okay, we've got inventory, but we spend the player's inventory with so much stuff. How can we make it easier on the players to manage things? Why do you need pets as an item taking up your limited inventory space? You don't. Take this idea, make pets part of that. You collect a pet, it's in your pet tomb. You can collect the pet you can equip the pet from the pet tomb, so you have whatever pet model you want. Like if you like the enchanted armament because you get, and the cards from the pet, it's just simply instead of being storing your pet tool. Instead of having to train a dozen different pets to get the talents you want, once you collect the pet, you train it up, and you equip the pet. Like that is a great system, and it wouldn't detract from the way the pet system currently works, where you go out there, you collect the pet, you train it up. Just simply make it more efficient for you to manage your inventory, and you can still have it where you equip. Because guess what, you can in ESO you have pets in that game as well. Guess what, you can go store them in your house. You can go store pets in any house you want, multiple times. Because you just simply in this house, okay, here's your pet from pet collection. You can copy of that pet in the house. You only do one copy in the house. But hey, you can go to your next house and you can do the same thing in that. So you can have your pet shown in 2 different houses if you wanted to. But you don't have to store in there just to manage your inventory because it's part of a collection page that there's no limit to. It's just you collect the pet once, you're done. That would be a great idea to add to this game. Why do you need to have it where you might have 50 versions of the same pet? I mean, if I was running a game, one thing I would be concerned about is how much inventory on my server space is an account taking up. The more if I have a pet collection too, where you collect the pet once, and now you got the pet in your collection too, and that's boom. They don't have to worry about collecting that pet. They got the pet. They can train it up. They can put their stats on there from that they've collected and whatever. You know, the more stats they unlock through collecting more pets, the better their set does. Like that, you can literally moderate your pet's usefulness through that system by adding more pets and limit and designate what that number of pet collection does. Like that would save more space on your servers than having hey we got people on here with 2 dozen pets of the same type. Literally, I probably have 3 or 4 dozen enchanted armaments. Some are like this, where I have for my healing gears. Actually, this is one I'm training up. Let's see here. Yeah, see, like I got 2 of these on this character with this set, and I'm working on a 3rd one. This is hopefully will turn out the same. We'll find out when we get to the next level. But then like all my lives have this pet. All my balance, my ice has this pet. And I'll probably maybe eventually make more and have them on every single one of my characters. I don't know. But like, you have all these pets and multiple copies of them on different wizards, and that all takes up memory space. I would, I would say, hey, I would prefer to have things a little bit more streamlined. Because when things are streamlined, you have less problems. Like, guarding in this game is... I hate guarding in this game now. Because you start on a fresh install, the game is literally like... Guarding is like super, super fast. You garden 1 time a week on each character that has a garden, which on me I have... I think it's here... 3, 4, 5, 6... I have, 7, 8. I have 8 characters that have some level of gardens beyond Beastman Seeds. They all have Beastman Seeds, but beyond the actual garden, besides Beastman Seeds, I have 8 of my 12 wizards have a dedicated garden. And when I first bought this computer, it was fast. Boom, 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 boom. Like I could literally harvest 50 plants, replant them, cast the spells in less than a minute. Now, it takes about a minute to cast 1 single spell. Because the longer you garden on a computer, something about the way the game works makes the spells work harder and harder and harder. Like, if I was to go in there and cast a single garden spell, let's say actually on the field, and let's say this, it goes, I cast a spell, and while I cast a spell, like say 2 seconds after I cast a spell, it pops up the queue for Beastman. I will probably be removed from the queue before the spell finishes now. Because a single spell now takes over a minute. It is ridiculous. But what causes that? Only thing I can think of is the way the game works is so convoluted in the code that casting garden spell over time causes the more and more, a little bit of your memory get tied up. A little bit more of your memory tied up. A little bit more of your memory tied up. And it stays that way even after you close the game. So like over time it builds it creates this backlog that makes it casting a spell longer and longer and longer. Now maybe I'm wrong on that because I'm not an IT expert, but there's something about gardening that the more often you cast gardening spells, the longer the spells take. Like I don't know what it is, but it has a problem. I've told KI about it. I sent it, and they've never done anything to fix it. Like because whenever you send a problem to KI, you basically get thanks for letting us know, and nothing gets done. But this would be a very good system for KI to implement, both for gear, for pets, And a third thing I like to talk to you about, like I know this video is getting long, so let's try to wrap this up, is find some way to manage this. Because I got all these potions, and they're pretty much impossible to ever use up. Impossible. Like, you get in it, I mean, it's ridiculous. Like, if I was to go on a quest, like, I am, you have so little time to quest because of events, that when you do have time to quest, you don't even know if you're going to be questing for an hour, so you don't even know if you ever have an opportunity to use these potions and actually get use out of them. Like, what am I supposed to do? Just pop them just to pop them? And that's a little ridiculous, you know, to expect, oh, hey, we're going to give you this potion, but we expect you just to pop it and do nothing with it. No. Like, either, this is what I suggest with potions. Either move potions into some system where you have them, and they're available to use, but they don't take up inventory space. Because, like, that's just those. I have over 100 energy potions that I have zero use for. Because I have many characters. It's so impossible to spend energy on this. Other than gardening. Like, gardening is, and pet training is the only things, and I don't have any real reason to pet train. Like, pet training is, if I pet train, it's like, yeah, okay, I'm bored. I'm going to just pet train. And a lot of it is during the events for pet training. You're like, I don't need, like, me training up a new pet is not like some critical thing. Because I got so many pets, it doesn't even matter. Like, I have pets for basically every situation. For each one of my characters. It's, you know, like, I got healing pets, I got crit damage pets, I got damage resist pets, I got a pure damage pets. I mean, like, it's I got all these, and it's for everything. Like, I really have no need to go train pets. None. Like, any pet I do is just basically just, oh, I just want to train a pet, you know. No reason to do it. So, like, a lot of these things associated with pet hatching, pet training, I don't need. Like, so pet training is not a thing for me to go burn energy because I don't have a need for it. Like, and that's one thing the devs don't seem to understand is there are players who have played this game as long as I have and as much as I have. We have different requirements and needs that are not being addressed with the way the game works. You know, I talk about go burns, and they're like, oh no, the pet training is your go burn. I don't need to. Like, the only thing I would be able to do have reason to go pet hash for is for pets I don't have for a collection. But I have over 800 pet models, plus all the duplicates that I have no way of managing because there's no system for it. Which, if they implement this idea of how to use this pet tome, guess what? Then maybe I could go out there and be like, hey, I want to go add this pet. Because then there would be I wouldn't have to sit there and spend hours and hours and hours and hours. Like, it's been years since I've done any actual pet management, and I stopped doing it years ago because it took me 2 days of playing to go just to organize the pets in the house so I could go in there and look at and try to figure, okay, what pets are duplicates? Okay, what these pets need to be trained up so that they're hatchable. You know, like 2 days of doing nothing but that. I was like, no, this is too much. And I never even fully got it organized. Like, it was just like 2 days, and it's like, I can't get it. It's too much. So, like, why would I go out and try to hatch and collect more pets when there's no system for managing it? Like, you know, they want us to say that they want us to collect pets to burn go, and then create a system where we can track what pets we've collected without spending days at a time trying to organize it. And the pet tome, like, when they came out with a pet tome, I thought that's what they were going for. I thought that was going to be like the first step. But no, they've done absolutely nothing with pet tome since then. They have not done anything. Like, pet tome is like gear sets. Oh, we're adding gear sets to the game. And then they add what, like 3 sets, and that's it. Like, nothing since then. Like, no new set. Like, since they added gear sets, they had a couple gear sets. and then they've never added another set with gear set bonuses since then. Like, why did you even go? I mean, like, I kind of when they did it, I kind of figured they were going to try to do things with rules because that's what gear sets are for. Like gear sets are for like, okay, here's a base set of stats. This is the baseline. Then if you're going to be a damage tank or a mitigation tank, whatever, then you get a specific gear set to make you better at that role. But they didn't do that because clearly, because I don't know. But like, we need these systems. Like, if the KI is serious about making the game better, trying to make the game better to get more people, this is the kind of things they need to be thinking about doing. How do we make it where pet collections are not taking up all your time? That you're not spending all your time trying to figure out what gear is a duplicate so you can delete that, what you need to keep, whatever. Like, I could only imagine how many emails KI gets a year about, oh, I accidentally deleted my whatever gear. You added this system. You'd be like, hey, no, you can just reconstitute it real quick. Like, and even with friends, like you say, oh, I deleted my crown gear. Hey, guess what? I get free crowns for doing days. I can go watch a video. Like, 25 crowns would be nothing to reconstitute that. Like, it would. Such a system would streamline their how much things they would have to handle. Like, you go add this idea, you wouldn't have to go tell them. You go sit there and try. Okay, hey, we got an email. Flair lost his gear. Well, let's go. Have to go verify it, and if it's true, give it back to him. Like, you wouldn't need to do that. It's like, oop, I accidentally deleted my ground gear. I go spend 25 crowns and get it back. And then another thing too, like, if they implemented that idea, like what I would do with the system, like with for crown gears, you go say you're a new player, you start the game level 10, you get a crown pack. Like, any player who's gonna sit there who has any sense idea of delayed gratification is gonna be like, oh, sir, I get this now, I get level 10 gear. I do it in when I'm level 100 or 130 or 150, depending on the set. I get the maximum gear for that set from that pack. I'm gonna wait until I'm that level. Whereas you do this crunch, you go like, okay, hey, I'm level 10, I got this pack. Boom, I opened up, I get a piece of gear. Go through that. And then you can reconstitute it for 25 crowns at any level. Like, that's what I would do. Like, it would make things more user friendly. It would allow players to see a worth out of doing things. Like, okay, I just hope that you see this video because I'm gonna upload this. I hope you see this, and I'm gonna share this link. I'm gonna send this link to you. Maybe you will, and just say, hey, these are some ideas that we can implement that will allow us to make the game better, make the game more friendly to our players, make things be more manageable. So that's KR. Just please consider this, because I think you will find that this will help you out in a lot of ways in making the game where your players see worth in buying things that you wanted to buy. You add a crown set, a crown pack, you want people to buy that. Well, when it's pure gambling, you're limiting yourself only to those who have a gambling addiction. They play the game, and over time, guess what happens? You have fewer and fewer players that are willing to spend money chasing after RNG items from a crown pack. Create a system where players can say, okay, if I spend this, I get this item, and then I can then reconstitute that. Like, it's not like that would mean that players could see not the buying of crown packs is not as a gamble to get something that may or may not be useful, but more as a way of, hey, I'm investing in the gear that I want from this. Like, I think they would do more to help you be sustainable than your current reliance on trying to get those people who are addicted to this game and have no and addicted to gambling and have lots of money that they can just waste on the game. Like you're putting too much reliance on that. Try to also incorporate have it where players who are more financially conservative say, hey, I like this game, I want to support it, I like this gear set, and if I spend a couple bucks on it, maybe I'll get this gear set, and then once I get that, I can use that gear set that I want. And even that, things like that. Like find ways to make it where other players are not addicts to gambling that play a game or the ones that you're relying on to make money. Try to diversify by making where things have more long-term value for the player. Thank you for watching this video. Um, I just hope that KI you listen to these ideas and you at least consider them. Because I think these would be some good ideas for the game and help the game out.